Hopefully it's working. I know that. I don't know what the hell's going on. What the hell is going on? It's ticking me off. There we go. Nope, it's still not. Let me see something. Let me see something. Something's not right. Something ain't right. I gotta figure it out. What the fuck is going on with YouTube? Okay, Silverado. I had to go on my big computer, and I'm still having problems with the internet connection. Go Dogs, what's happening? There's a master. Hey, man, I'm trying to be. YouTube's really acting weird tonight. Really acting weird. So, the point of this video is to show somebody how to hair a mask. But I'm only putting the lines on the head, showing how to do that. I'm hoping that this other thing fires up for me so I can see the text. Oh, Jesus, let me shut this fan off so you can hear. There we go, it's a little better, ain't it? All right. I'm trying to get this tablet to work with the internet. Come on. What is going on? No, error. Error, error, error. Why? This sucks. Maybe it has something. No, that ain't it. It keeps blocking me out. I don't understand what the hell's going on. I can't see any text. What is going on here? What the hell? I don't get it, guys. All right, so what I'm doing right now, and I'm going to read your comments in a minute because I'm only doing this. I'm going to have to get this internet problem solved. All right, so These are the rows that you make with the hair. All right. I might put one piece here. All right, you get the gist of this, guys. All right, now what that is that's telling me where to put the hair. I'll put the bead of glue or latex right on that line, on each one of these lines. And that's where I put my hair. But I always start from the back to the forward. And this is important to do this. As you can see, the lines are here. This is how you layer it. And always start on the very bottom row here at the back of the head, and you work your way forward. All right. And that's how you do your hair. That's how you line your hair up. I would stop this right around here though. Same place on this. Now here's the line where the hairline is. But you gotta allow yourself for that glue line right in there. All right, so you don't want the hair going right up to the glue line. The hairline, I mean. All right, so I'm gonna take this off of there since I can't get my tablet to work for some reason. So here's the glue line. You don't want to bring this hair all the way to that glue line like this. You bring it back a little bit. And just keep your hair about the right distance, same distance all the way over in the mask. Now what I usually do is the fiber. I pull the fibers at whatever staple the fiber length is, and then I cut them in half, and then I glue them. So, and that's going to be another night because I am burnt out. I was going to have to do this another day. So let me fill you in on what's been going on. The mask business is very slow. Two things. I've been busting my ass trying to get all these masks. I got one sitting here that's painted. I got this one here. That's my brother's. That's what I'm doing. I'm going to put this back over here, and I'll show you that mask that's cut out. Hold on. This is a large mask. It's not painted or anything yet. Sorry. That's a large mask there. That's not painted. I've got that one over there. I've got this one over here. That one's all ready to go. That's painted, and I'm gonna put that on eBay tomorrow night. And this is a large mask, and it's a thick pull, very thick pull. This is a large mask, and it's a thick pull, very thick pull. I'm gonna put that on eBay. This small 24.5-inch mask is on eBay right now. You guys can get that. That's a, it's a blank though. I'm selling it as a blank. It's only $150 on eBay. It's a blank though. I'm selling it as a blank. It's only $150 on eBay. Unplug that. Damn, I had my headset on in my sound booth, and I can hear the delay. So I have quite a few masks. On the, I'm gonna hair that one. That's gonna be an eBay mask. This one goes to my brother. This is a large mask. Let me turn it around since we're. Come on, get up there. Yeah, that one's a good looking mask. What's up, Jaden? Yeah, I've been around the block a few times. That's for sure. Let me see. Let me back up and read everybody's comments. Silverado, read that. There's the master. What have I missed lately? Silverado. I've got my Ultra FB78 in the making. There it is. There's a finished painted mask. That's my brother's large mask. That's the one that's closest to us. The other one's got more of a weathered yellow tint to it, and that has to be haired yet. Let me pull it forward. Let me turn it around so you guys can see it. I'm also very close to it. When you're this close, it distorts the image a little bit. But I burn out. I'm just so burnt out from working so damn much. And that's the small mask. Large and small. Now, they're not exactly sitting next to each other perfectly, but they're right next to each other, but one's higher than the other, so it's hard to tell how big. That large mask is 25.5 inches, but it fits like a 25-inch mask because of the depth in the back of the head. The depth isn't as deep, so it fits like a 25-inch mask, just so you know that. Even though that if you measure around the scowl over top of the ears to the back of the head, it's 25.5 inches, but it fits like a 25. And this is a 24.5 inch, but it fits like a 24. Same situation. Yeah, these masks are really good, man. I gotta say, they're really. Now that one to the right that you're looking at right there is the V2. Yeah, that's a V2. I can't see it. Wait a minute. Let me see what it is. I got to tell by the lips. Yeah, that's the V2. That's the V2 mask. And this is the Ultra. That's an Ultra right there. And then I got on eBay, I've got the blank. So if you guys are interested in doing a blank, you definitely want to grab it and get it, because it's, I don't know how long I'm going to be able to keep this price down, man. I think I'm going to add a little bit more white to this. I think it just looks a little too yellow for me. I don't like that yellow look too much. We need it to be like this, cream colored. Very, very light, whitish cream. But the shading is perfect on that mask. Everything's good. The lips are perfect. They look like the screen used mask big time. I'm getting comments all over the place saying that this is the most accurate mask they've seen so far. Great, I love it. How come people ain't buying? Well, I know the answer to that. Right now, it's really bad out there. It's really tough. The economy is so bad. That's why I did lower my price to $250 for my masks. So take advantage of it. When you see one of these up, and I don't know that you'll get it in time for Halloween now, because tomorrow is going to be launched. That's going to be on eBay. The other the Ultra right over there, that's going to go on eBay tomorrow, and that one, and so is this one here on the left. As soon as I paint it a little bit more white, I'm going to hair it and put it on eBay. Whether they get to you on time for Halloween, that's another story. I don't know because they're going to be on eBay for at least 3 days. 5. I'd like to keep them on there probably 5 days, because if they're only on there for 3 days, not enough views. You don't get enough people seeing it. So I keep it up there for 5 days. But you have the option to buy it now. I have it set at $350 to buy it now. And if you're really trying to get a mask like this, if you're trying to get this mask for Halloween, I suggest you just hit the buy it now when you see it up there. I don't know that I can get these masks out if we keep waiting closer and closer to Halloween. You know, there's two different types of people. You have people that wear the mask, and then you got people that actually just put it on a shelf and never wear it. And they're the ones that don't care what size they get. They just kind of pretty much, doesn't matter which size as long as it looks good on their shelf. So, oh yeah. There be an Ultra FB78 in the making. So, as you can hear it in my voice, I am really, really lethargic. I'm so tired. I am wiped out. Oh yeah. So anyway, what's going on, guys? How have you been? Jaden, yeah, day one. If you've been with me since day one, you've seen the progression, and boy, they did. They definitely got better, didn't they, Jaden? It is so. It's really hard to replicate things. I can tell you that, very hard, because every time you think you got it close, a new picture comes out and reveals something else, and then. You have to understand, with the pictures that we have of this of the actual screen used mask, it's very there's not a lot of there's not a lot of pictures. Now there are a lot more pictures now than there ever was. But you couldn't get a good profile of the mask unless you actually still shotted the movie scene. And that's how I got my slants perfect. That's how I got my eye cut so perfect, because I actually used clips from the actual movie, and that was the best way to go. I mean, I didn't copy anybody else's version, or I did my own thing, man. I actually overhauled a NAG mask, Ultra. I don't know if it was called Ultra or Ultra something else. I forget what it was. Anyway, it was an Ultra. It was actually Pipe Masters, who usually comes on here a lot. He brought it to me last year, and I got to see that mask up close, and his eye slants weren't quite right either on that mask. But also, he was dealing with the limited pictures that we were at the same time, and really, it's a guessing game trying to get everything right. But when you look at this straight on, look how perfect those eye cuts look. All right, now it's really close. So let me hold on. I'll do it this way. I'll back up. I have to back my chair up. You got to be at least 6 feet away to get an actual, and then you zoom in to get the actual size of the mask in there. Now this is a little bit cocked. The head is a little bit on the right, the large one, the head's cocked a little bit. But there's a trick to it. And if you look at that, you look at the eye cuts, look at them dead on, see how perfect they look? Well, believe me, trying to get the slant, the eye cut to go back right is very difficult to do the way it's supposed to be on the actual mask. Very difficult to get that right. That was one of the hardest things to do, to try and figure out, is why did the eye cuts didn't look real wide like this. They didn't look real elongated. But yet if you went back too far with the eye cut, there's a trick to getting the eye cut perfect going back and the right distance going across. And that is the real challenge. That is no joke. That is really tough. And the lips are very hard too. The lips and chin. I think the lips and chin are much harder for me than anything else. I can do ears real good. I can do noses. But those lips and chin, they are brutal. Trying to replicate the actual screen used mask, you have to have a really good understanding of what you're seeing straight on, because the profile pictures don't really give you enough. It wasn't until recent pictures, only about a month ago, 2 months ago, a couple of pictures came about that actually showed a picture of the mask real clear with a good profile of it. And I was able to replicate it to a T once I saw that profile. And that's why the lips look so accurate. The nose is a little elongated on this mask. I'm going to retool this and fix that elongated nose just a little bit, shorten it just a little bit. I'm also going to flare out the nostrils just a little bit. But that's after Halloween. That's well into the winter time before I do that retool. My objective is to make a perfect replication of the actual screen used mask. Now, when you're looking at this mask, when I say the nose is long, it's literally like maybe 1/8 of an inch longer than the screen used mask. It looks a little longer. I don't even think it looks that long, especially when you see it from a profile. It looks like almost dead on the money. I just think it's a little narrow in the middle of it. It makes it look longer than it actually is. I don't know. Anyway, I am going to retool this at one point. I'm also going to make a H40 out of this mask. I'm going to make an H40 from this sculpture. Oh yeah. I'll slant the eyes, in other words, this way, a little bit more on both sides. There'll be more of a little bit more of a slant to the eye cuts. But I'm going to use this as my base sculpture for the 2018 H40, whichever one you want to call it. Now this one here, I'm going to paint this a little bit more like this. I'm going to bring those yellows out a little bit more. I don't like that yellow. It's a little too yellow. So this is going to be the end game paint scheme right here. That is the paint scheme with all my masks going forward. That will be the one right there. And what you're looking at here is the large mask on the right and the small mask on the left. This one here fits like a 25-inch mask, and this one here fits like a 24-inch mask. And they measure 25.5 going across the scowl, across the forehead, around the ear to the back, at the furthest point of the back of the head. If you take a cloth measuring tape and you go around that portion of the head, that's the measurement there. But because of the way the neck tapers in from the back of the head, this fits like a 25-inch mask, the large, and the other one fits like a 24. So if your head is, it has to be at least 23 or under to wear the small mask. Measure your head, and if your head is under 23 inches, the small mask will fit. If your head is bigger than 23 inches, you got to get the bigger mask. Just giving you a heads up. I don't want somebody buying that small mask and then going, whoa, it's too tight. Yeah, that's what it is. The lighting is what makes the shadows, and you can't like I've on this on the right hand side, you can't really see the undershadowing. There's no shadowing. That's the actual feature in the mask. No, that's the way it's got to be. There is no shadowing. I have no shadowing in those crevices, even up in the forehead and the skull, on the scowl. There's no um, there's no weathering to show the. Um, I want to say that there's no paint in there. It's all white. It's all the same color, but because of the lighting and the way the shading. Now this one here, you can still see some shadowing inside of here, and as you can see, you really don't need it when you have this in the right lighting. With the way this is sculpted, the shadows are there naturally. Um, you don't need any of the shadowing. This mask really is really awesome. You can't believe how good this looks when it's on you. It's really good. Um, anyway, guys, it looks like some people are jumping off. Yeah, the shadows is what makes the mask, and this is why I did this with this mask. There's no shadows painted into that mask at all. It's all there naturally. And you do have to have those prominent the way they are, or you won't get those shadows. And believe me, I've got these bright lights on it. See these lights? They're beaming down straight onto the mask almost. And that's looking at it straight on almost forward. There's not a lot of, there's more shadow on this side because the light's literally just, it's in front of it, but casting down on top of it. This side's getting a wash, and it's actually not a lot of shadowing, but it's there naturally. And believe me, it looks freaking amazing. And the darker this mask, and the darker the lighting that this mask is in, the scarier it looks. Looks insane. Yep, I'm sticking with this paint scheme. The mask on the right. Hard dude, what's happening, man? Yeah, man. I didn't realize that was you. Hard dude. I'm so lethargic right now, man. Yeah, you can hear it in my voice. My voice is shot. Everything's shot. I'm just really tired. I get up every day between 3 a.m. and 4 a.m. That's the start of my day every day. Yeah, the one on the right is spot on. That's the right color right there. The one on the right is my brother's mask. Well, I'm doing a lot. I've been going getting tests and all kinds of stuff. We're getting the gastric bypass surgery, so I can drop the rest of the weight, and hopefully I can walk well enough to where I don't have to rush to go get my hips replaced. But I have to get hip replacement. That's the reason why I'm getting the gastric bypass, to lose all of my weight, so I can function better. So, oh yeah. I've had people say that this mask is the most accurate they've seen, including the nag mask, even the new sculpt. Now I saw only one picture of that, and I actually have it. I've saved it. It's on my computer of the new nag mask. I'm not bashing it. It's really hard to replicate this mask. It's really tough. But he's only giving you this shot right here. What I'm showing you right here is all you're seeing of that mask. He's not giving you a profile of it. He's not showing any of the mask from any angles. Yeah, I sure will. I do. I take care of myself. I really do. I do take care of myself. But I'm getting older. Shit happens. Just have to take care of yourself. But man, I got so much to do. I got herring to do. I got like 3 masks of hair. I'm selling some blanks on eBay. I have to promote better because that's a lot of my problem. A lot of people haven't seen this mask yet. A lot of collectors have not seen this mask yet. I've heard that from a couple collectors. They're like, "Holy shit!" They're like, "Damn, man, where'd this mask get? Who did this?" Blah 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 blah. I'm like, I've been here for what, 5 years trying to perfect this thing. Well, not just this mask, but I mean, I was doing the Night Creeper, and you know, the hair. I'll tell you what it is. It's not so much putting the hair on the mask; it's styling the hair. That is really difficult. Um, Styling the hair on this mask, I have figured it out. I have figured it out, but it's got to remain a secret. When I style the next hair, you guys are going to see a very accurate rendition of the hair on this mask. It's going to be very matted to the head. It's going to be lots of hair strands going in every direction. Lots of depth to the hair. That's what that creates. Um, and then what do they call them? The worm? No, the hair, the horns. Yeah, you got to have the horns in the right place. So that'll be all done. But this mask is really close to spot on to the screen used mask. I mean, look at that. Look at the side view. Look at that. Not quite side view, but like a little bit to the side. You see how the eye slants perfectly back the way they're supposed to be? There's so many little things that people get wrong on this mask, including Nag on his Ultra. His left eye, the checkmark side, was too shallow. How do I know? I overhauled one of his masks. I repainted it. And I had one in my hand, so I know exactly what it was. But I'm not bashing the mask. Please don't say that. I'm not bashing the mask. I'm actually just saying that here's what it is. At that time, there weren't a lot of pictures out when he made that mask. Very limited pictures. And most pictures were more direct, like this. So you can't really tell how far back that slant goes. You know, it wasn't until that book was released that we were able to actually see how far back the slants went. You know, so as things went on and I got better pictures, I was able to really nail this thing. And believe me, Nag is a great artist. He will nail it to the T, probably even closer than me when he really gets it down. But it's tough. It is a really hard mask to nail. And I'm still a rookie at this, man. I only got 5 years of sculpting under my belt. So, but I do keep getting better and better as I do this. I definitely keep getting better and better. So that's the whole key, man. You got to improve. You just got to improve. And before you know it, you're really good. And people seek out your work. But I can tell you this, replication is the hardest thing to do. Whenever you're replicating something, very difficult. Especially if it's a movie mask, because they keep under lock and key pictures of that mask from all different angles. They definitely don't want to reveal what that mask really looks like, including Christopher Nelson. You know, the only way I was able to really get close was doing still shots from the actual movie. That's why I was able to get the eye cuts a little bit more accurate than most people. But I had another compliment that was interesting. I had somebody emailed me when they were going to my website. They said, your mask actually looks better than the screen used mask. I said, well, okay, since you said that, I need to know why you said that. Because, I mean, everybody's trying to replicate the screen used mask, not trying to make it better, if that's even possible. But he said, yours looks more lifelike, like it's a real person. That's what he said. There's not a lot of, it's just smoother. It looks more like a real face. That was his reason. Me, I don't know. I'll leave you guys decide that stuff. It's not my opinion. That was somebody else's. More lifelike. Could very well be. There's a couple things on that mask that I want to do a little bit better. Just a little bit better. I think the scowl, I'm going to make it a little heavier in the middle. When I retool this thing, man, this is going to be so perfect. So perfect. Some of you may say, well, you know, let's just wait for the retool. That's okay. You can do that. But I don't know how long that's going to take. I don't know when I'm going to do it. I don't know. So just so you know, the eye cuts are on the money. Yeah, I'm happy with this. I'm really happy. I was really thinking about not retooling this at all and just leaving it the way it is. And I'm still not 100% sold on retooling it because it's a lot of work and it's a lot of expense when you retool, because you got to make another silicone of it and everything. So it's just, I really want to go that direction because it does look good the way it is. Looks really good. But anyway, guys, I know there's 8 people on here now. Yeah. I'm tired, man, guys. I got to get off of here. I got to go to bed. I'm going to bed early tonight. I get up early. Yeah, Bo Norton, the new Nag mask. That's actually a nice looking mask, but you know what I saw on it? That there's only one picture out there that I'm aware of. And I wish I could show it to you here. I don't think I put it on the, yeah, maybe I did. Yeah, I think I did put it on the computer. Hold on. I don't know if you guys seen it or not. Hold on, let me get over to my computer. I definitely did download it. I thought the top of the head looked a little too narrow, that's all. But that could have been the photo too. That could have been just the photo or the way it was stuffed. I don't know. You know, that the lips, the cheeks, everything looks spot on. Hold on, let me back out of this. Let me shrink out of this. Let's go out of here. Yeah, here it is. That's the only picture available. Now, it could be because of the way it's stuffed, but look at how narrow the top of the head is. It looks like, you know, a little cone-shaped. And that's not the way that mask is. If you look at my mask, it's very squared off the face. But that could be just the way it was stuffed. I don't know. Maybe it's a little spread out on the jawline. I don't know. It's the only picture available that's available of that new Nag mask. I'm not knocking Nag. I just think that he's keeping it a hush-hush. He will not show these pictures of this thing. And rightfully so. Although I'm not like that. You know, I share what I do. I share what I do. It's a nice looking mask, it really is. It's a nice looking mask. And Nag, if you're watching my videos, and I'm not bashing at all. I just don't think it's stuffed right to make it look right. That's just me. But then again, but then again, there's no way to know. But that's the new nag overhaul. That is definitely his retool. A friend of mine buys his mask all the time, and he reached out to him when I sent him the picture of this. I don't know where I got this picture, but somebody sent it to me, and I was like, "Oh shit, that looks great." You know what I mean? The more I looked at it, the more I said, "Okay, head looks a little narrow at the top, but that could be the way it's stuffed. I don't know." And until he puts more pictures out there, there's no way to know. And you don't see any profile. We don't know if the eye cuts are slanted back far enough. I think he did get that. I really do. By looking at it, I can see the way the eye cut is over on the checkmark side, checkmark cheek side. So, but that's a nag that you're looking at, guys. In case you're just chiming in and just seeing this, this is a nag. This is his new ultra. I don't even know what it's called. I don't even know the name of it. I know it's this. I know it's his retool, his newest retool. I know I did my retool 2 months ago, and I think this came out just a couple weeks ago. So with the further, and I'll show you. Okay, this is where the difference is, and I'll show you because this was the mask I overhauled. That was Pipe Master's mask. All right, this is Pipe Master's mask. All right, okay. All right, and what I mean by this is you see how the eye cut slants, they don't come back far enough. They look very round and flat to the face. That is the Ultra Nag mask, and I repainted it for Pipe Master. And it was in bright light there. That's why you can't really see any of the details too much. But it's a nice mask. Don't get me wrong, it is a nice mask. And this was done before you could actually see any of the photos of the before these recent photos came out of the screen used mask. So, and also I noticed this mask here, the head in the back of the head was always too blown out. Too blown out. And I noticed something even with my mask at this point, when I retool it, I have to shape the top of the head better. Because on the actual screen used mask, the head goes across and it goes out just a little bit further back and then it comes down. It doesn't, like, I know it's fading out, it's blurring, getting blurry, but the hairline would go out like this and it goes out a little bit further and then goes down really tight to the back of the head. That means the head shape has to be a little bit, has to go back a little bit further, the roundness of the top of the head. These are the little tiny things. Now, what I noticed with this mask is the neckline is very far back, the back of the neck. And I can understand why, because the circumference around here, I think, was a 24.5-inch perfect measurement. But if the back of the head didn't go back far enough, what will happen is your eyes are literally crushed up inside the eye sockets, into the eye cuts. And you don't want that because your eyes need to be further back in that mask for that mask to look good on you. So in order to make your eye cuts go further back in the mask, he blew out the back of the mask further. That's only my guess. But that explains why the neck looks a lot wider this way than it does when it's facing you. But that's a nag mask. That's only my opinion. And believe me, I'm no expert. I'm still new at this game. This guy's been doing it for 30 years. Maybe, I don't know, give or take 20 years, 25 years. I don't know. But whenever you're replicating something, man, if you don't have a lot of good pictures, It's almost impossible to get it perfect. It really is. The best thing to have is actually the mask right in your hands. Yo, Thorburn, what's happening? I'm getting ready to get off of here now, but I was talking about, like, I'm going to put this on eBay tomorrow. This is a large mask. That's a large. I'm sorry, it's real close to you and you can't really see it that well. But this even has the scuffs up in here and the eye cuts. A little bit of dirt right there in the corner and an extra line that goes into that. That's there on this mask. I also did one like this for, was it Asylum? Not Asylum. I forget which one it was. But I've got another blank sitting over there that I'm either going to paint in hair, but we're coming to the end where you can't. You're really coming to it's. Go Dogs, thanks, man. I'm getting there. It's just really tough. It's not an easy thing to do. Replication is so difficult, man. You have to be a really, really good eye artist with a keen eye. My biggest problem, people just haven't seen my mask. That's really what's going on. The collectors haven't seen it. That and the economy's real bad. So, it's a combination of the two things. But I need to learn how to promote better. I don't know. I'm not that great on social media and stuff, and that's our only way to really promote. You have to really get good at promotion. Nick Molpagano, I think, is one of the best guys out there that knows how to promote. He really does. And I always talk to him, and I always give him a heads up when something's going wrong or somebody's doing something with his mask, because I have to, because I mean, if it wasn't for Nick Molpagano, I got news for you. I never went into this mask business. He's the one I bought. His videos was the very first videos that I started watching on how to make a Michael Myers mask. I still had the DVDs, but they didn't work anymore. They stopped working on me. But I ended up downloading them. I said, look, once he started offering downloads on how to do this, how to do that, he's got all that stuff available. And how could I ever bash or even, I can't. I love Nick. I really do. I think he's such a great guy. I really do. I think he's that good. He is really good at what he does, and he's been doing it forever. I'm a rookie. Who am I to say? I'm only pointing out things that Nag changed. I'm pretty sure he changed on this new mask. Nick is awesome, man. He is really a good guy. And I'm sorry. I'll go out of my way to protect him in any given situation. Anytime somebody does something. Apparently somebody was using photos of his mask and selling another mask on one of I forget which platform it was, but it was selling a mask and was using photos of his mask to sell the mask. And I gave him a heads up on it right away, and he was like, oh man, thank you, John, and blah, 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 blah. I was like, I felt good because, I was able to help him, and I'm sure he's got a lawsuit against him. I know he's not somebody to mess with in the mask business. That's for sure. He is nobody to play with, and highly respected throughout the business, in the mask business, and artist business in general. Anybody that has ever attempted replication of any kind of mask knows how hard it really is. I don't think so. I think he just there's enough photos out there now that reveals the actual screen used mask. There's enough photos out there now that we can actually nail the mask a lot closer. Nobody's ever going to get it exact because that's like drawing a perfect circle. But you're going to get it very, very close. So close. I just wish NAG would show like the profile pictures. I just want to see what they did. I want to see how much better his new mask is if I can see it in every direction. Well, if he's friends with Sean Clark, there's a good chance that he did get a hold of the screen use mask to be able to replicate it perfectly. Um, I don't know though, because uh, here's my thought on this, and this is why I don't know if that's true. All right. Christopher Nelson. I have to ask myself, okay, Christopher Nelson, how come he isn't putting this mask out? Well, maybe because he doesn't want to get into mask reproduction. All right. Okay, I get that. But why isn't he sharing like really good photos of the mask? If he's trying to protect the mask somehow, some way, he's definitely trying to protect the mask, no doubt. He's not trying to reveal the mask entirely. No way. So, with that being said, would he let Sean Clark show that mask? Now, Sean Clark and Christopher Nelson do a show together called the Thing with Two Heads, and they're close. And if I'm sure if Christopher Nelson said to Sean Clark, whatever you do, don't share photos of this mask, you know, or show it to anybody, up close or up front, or let them take pictures of it. I know that he went to a couple conventions, Christopher Nelson, and he had the mask on display, and he stopped people from taking pictures of it. They weren't allowed to take photos of the mask. So that tells me everything with Christopher Nelson. Why would he want to protect that mask? My guess is I think he plans on probably using that mask in a newer movie. I don't know. Maybe they're going to do another version of this movie at some point, and they're going to come to him for that mask. The original 78 mask, Dick Warlock actually had it, and I think he sold it to somebody. God knows who has it now. I wouldn't know. I really don't get. I'm not a mask collector. I hate to tell you that, guys. I'm a maker. I'm a sculptor. I'd rather make stuff and send it out to people. I might keep one copy of something that I do, but I'm not a collector. I'm not a collector. And it's funny that I feel that way because I've always said at some day, because I'm an artist, and I've been an artist my whole life, but I always said to myself, someday I'm going to make a nice Michael Myers mask. I just have to learn how, And at that time, there was no social media, there was no YouTube, no nothing. So I never really got to do it, and I was busy with my other career. So, it was finally COVID that actually said, okay, I'm probably going to be out of work, so why don't I do 2018 trilogy killed my buzz big time. Well, I think the Ends movie is what really killed it for me. I didn't like the Ends movie. I love The Mask. I just didn't like the movie. I hated the movie. I loved Kills. I loved Kills because of the flashback scene, just because of the way he was rampaging and killing everything in sight. It was a great movie. There's a couple things I didn't like about it, like evil must die. I hated that. That was so corny. Bad dialogue. There was some bad dialogue in that movie as well. And that's script writing and stuff. But that's what Hollywood is now. There's not a lot of good script writers. There's not a lot of good real writers in Hollywood right now. Go Dogs. James Jude. Look, I love Nick Castle. Don't get me wrong. I love Nick Castle. I love Dick Warlock. Personally, I've met Dick Warlock, and he actually has one of my masks. I loved both of them with a passion, but I'm going to say right now, James Jude Courtney was the best Michael Myers that ever happened. Best Michael Myers that anybody played. Now, he replicated what Nick Castle actually did, but he also, I think he took a little page out of what Dick Warlock did too. There was little hints of Dick Warlock's movements in James Jude Courtney. I noticed, and it was probably because he watched both movies. He probably watched the whole trilogy, But he probably stuck with. My guess is he stuck with the original '78 and the '81. Yeah, well, Castle. I think Castle. He didn't really. He just put the mask on and just was himself. And everybody based what they needed to do off of what he did. Now, my theory, only my theory, I'd love to talk to Dick Warlock about this, his mindset on, and one of these days I'm going to reach out to him because I do have his email. I just haven't gotten around to it. I'm going to reach out to him and ask him the specific question. What was his mindset after watching the original Halloween? What brought him to playing Michael Myers the way he played him? More zombie-like. Now, my theory is that after he got shot so much and off the balcony and he's still alive, stabbed, poked in the eye, God, needle in the neck, shot 6, 7, actually 7 times, and then falls off the balcony and gets up and still alive. Well, at that point, it's supernatural. So Dick Warlock, my theory is he started playing Michael Myers as somebody that was already dead, kind of zombie-like, and just going through the motion. And it explains why he really didn't kind of look down. Like, think about that staircase scene when he's in the hospital and he's walking down the steps. He looked straight ahead. He wasn't looking down to see where he was going. He was just looking straight ahead like he wasn't even there. His emotions were gone. His face, he had nothing underneath that mask. It was just a zombie type of walk. There wasn't a lot of looking. It was really bizarre the way he played that part, but he played it well. And Dick Warlock played a great Halloween 2 version. But you have to keep in mind when he probably saw Halloween 1, he thought, this guy's not, he's superhuman. He's not alive. It's not a person. He's a zombie. I wonder if that's how he approached it. I like them equally. I like Halloween 1 and 2 equally for all the same reasons. I'll tell you right now, I seen the uncut version of Halloween 2 before um, before John Carpenter got his hands on it and then re-edited the whole thing. I seen what that original cut was supposed to be, and it was horrible. It was really bad. I'm trying to remember the director. Um, he cut that. It was so bad. The cutting of that movie. It was so horrible. And then what happened was the producers saw the final cut, and they had to call John Carpenter back in to recut that movie because the editing was horrible. And I saw it. I know what it looks like, and man, it was bad. My buddy had a bootleg copy of that. And man, oh my God, you couldn't make sense of the movie. That's how bad it was edited. It was edited. You couldn't make sense of the movie. It was like all over the place. And I thought, Jesus, what a mess. Yeah, man. I forgot to tell Dick Warlock that I've seen that cut. I don't know that he even might have. Oh, he had to have known about it. The first cut, I saw that. Rick Rosenthal, that's the guy. Rick Rosenthal was the director of the Halloween 2, and I don't know if he personally edited that movie or his team edited it, but man, it was awful. So the movie made no sense at all. You couldn't tell heads or tails of where he was in the film, location. It was jumping all over the place. Resurrection. Was that Rick Rosenthal that did Resurrection? I don't remember Resurrection too well. Because I stopped, I really didn't watch anything beyond Halloween 2, 1981. What's your opinion on his version of the Rick Rosenthal? Let me put the other mask back up because I'm tired of looking at this. There we go. This is a nice mask. It is nice. This is the nag. This is the new nag mask. But I just wish he would show us a profile. I feel like right where the ears are, right here and right here, he's got something in there to spread this out a little further. And it's given the head more of a torpedo, it's causing the head to look a little wonky. And how I know I think that's true is because from the earlobe to the bottom of the neck cut right here, see how it tapers down? See, it's on an angle. It's not straight up and down. It's tapered a little bit. I have a funny feeling he's got something in there that's stuffed to widen this area here, but it looks more narrow up in this area. Too narrow for me. It's not the way it's supposed to look. But, like I said, it could be the way it's stuffed. And until we see more pictures of this, we're never going to know what we got. I would never buy this mask with just this photo. I'd have to see a lot more photos to buy that mask. And I wouldn't mind buying this nag mask, to tell you the truth. I wouldn't mind owning it. If it's really good, if it's as good as I think it is, I wouldn't mind owning that. That I would get in my collection. But anyway. Yeah, Rick Rosenthal, I think that's his name. His editing was horrible in that Halloween 2, 1981. The original Halloween 2. It really, I seen the cut before John Carpenter re-edited it, and it was bad. Movie didn't make any sense. As a matter of fact, the stairway scene when Michael Myers was coming down the steps. He's coming down the steps, but yet he was on the second floor when he killed. Tommy Lee Wallace, as a film director, oh, it was great when John Carpenter fixed it. He took everything that was edited and actually respliced it and redid it and organized it so it made sense. The story didn't make any sense. Rick Rosenthal's addition is bad. You can't make sense, heads or tails, of where Michael was. It was just really weird. Very strange editing job, that's for sure. But John Carpenter, he didn't shoot anything. Maybe he did do some reshoots. He might have. I think he did do some reshoots in that movie because there was some spots in that movie he couldn't fix. So I think he did do a couple reshoots, but nothing that was. He didn't have to go crazy because he really didn't want nothing to do with the movie. He didn't want to do Halloween 2. He said, why do something that's perfected? Why do another? Well, it was like the start of the sequels. It was like one of the very first times that we had a sequel to a movie. Hates it, but he approved the 2018 trilogy. Well, John Carpenter likes getting paid. Don't get yourself wrong. That's for sure. John Carpenter likes a paycheck. And he has said that many a times in different interviews. You know, he's ready to get paid anytime you want to pay him. I think he hates H2 because of the way they shot it. And I'm sure, like, he would have done it a lot differently. I don't know. After John Carpenter cut that movie and made it right, it's a classic. It's still a great movie. I love it. I love Halloween 2. I do. But I seen Rick Rosenthal's version of it. I actually have it. And it is bad. I don't want nothing to do with it. And actually, the one that I originally seen is different than the one that was released. I have a funny feeling Rick Rosenthal, before they did a DVD release, a Blu-ray release of a 4K release. I'm sorry, a 4K release of the Halloween 2. Just I think it was last year, and it gave you the Rick Rosenthal copy. Well, the Rick Rosenthal movie I saw on the original cut was not like the one that was on that DVD. They were two different movies. The original cut really was real bad. You could not make sense of the movie. You couldn't follow it. You didn't know where he was going. It was strange, man. The newer Rosenthal one, I think he went and re-edited that movie, his original clips, to make it a little bit more, I'm sure he made more sense of it. But he put things in there that he kept things and took things out that were different. Oh, hell yeah. There's never been a worse movie than Ends. Never. There's nothing, I don't think, especially when you're a fan of the Halloween trilogy, The Ends Mask is the worst Halloween movie I've ever seen, including the Halloween 3, Season of the Witch, which was a good movie on its own. But I seen that in the theater and I felt like I was robbed, because Halloween 3 sold it. You didn't know that Michael Myers was not going to be in that movie until you got into the theater. And I think there was a hospital room scene where the TV had Michael Myers playing on the TV, or a bar or something. I forget what it was. But you're looking at the movie Halloween on the TV and you instantly knew, oh shit, this movie has nothing to do with Michael Myers. He ain't even in this movie. And it pissed off so many people. I saw that movie, I think the second night that it opened, on the second night of opening weekend. And the people booed the screen when they saw Michael Myers, the Halloween movie, being played on TV, and people were watching it in the bar. And you knew instantly that Michael Myers was not in that movie, and that's why people hated. I never finished the movie. I got up and walked out. No shit. I got up and walked out. I was so pissed off because I felt like I was sold a bunch of bullshit. And that's what happened. And that movie got a lot of negative feedback because of how they sold it. And anybody that went to the theater and saw that movie and was expecting to see Michael Myers again, they got gypped big time, and it pissed them off. And a lot of people, it took a long time before that movie started to catch its own, people watching it. They should have never called it Halloween 3. They should have just called it Season of the Witch. And that would have been the end of that. And then there wouldn't have been any controversy because then you would have been, oh, okay, it's not Halloween. So, yeah, it's a classic, but it took a lot of time to build up that crowd. It took a lot of time to gain um, the fan base that it has. And the reason why is because the way they sold that movie. And it pissed off a lot of Halloween fans, especially original fans like myself, who saw the first Halloween 1 and 2 in the movie theater. I'm 63 years old, guys. So I seen that movie. I was 16 years old in the theater. And I went there with my two cousins, females. On one side, I had one, and the other on the other side. And man, I left that theater with bleeding arms because of their fingernails. They were terrified of Michael Myers. Him stalking them girls freaked them out. Oh my God, look at it. He's looking at them. Oh my God, he's look. When he stepped out from behind the bushes and they saw him, they literally dug their fingernails into my arms. Man, I was bleeding when I left the theater. I'm not joking. You know, I taught my lesson: never sit between two females that get scared easily in horror movies. Never do it. Sit one seat over from them and let them hug each other and kill each other. Who cares? uh, just remember that. Now, if it's your girlfriend, that's a whole nother thing. But that wasn't my girlfriend's. It was my two cousins, two female cousins. Very interesting movie to watch with them two. Oh my God, their knees were up into their chests and they had their hands over their eyes 90% of the movie. And just as he would step out, or the other scene that freaked him out is when Jamie Lee Curtis was looking out of her bedroom window and she saw him looking up at her from the yard behind the sheets. Yeah, that freaked out my cousins. The minute he stepped out, when she dropped off the key to the Myers house and he stepped out of the shadows, you could hear his breathing, and that's when they were freaking out. Oh my God, he's in there, he's in there, he's in there. Get the hell away from that door. Get the hell. Oh, you can't believe it. And I mean, when we were in there, it was a packed house. Packed. You know, I saw that movie on October 30th, 1978, in the movie theaters. How I know that date so well is because at the very beginning of the movie, in the thunderstorm, when it fast forwarded from 1963 to 1978, October 30th, the night before Halloween, I was like, oh, cool, man, that's tonight. Never forget saying that, yelling that out loud. Oh, cool, that's tonight. And people started laughing. And we're all dead, folks. I remember I said something like that. We're all going to die in here tonight. It's tonight. Lock your doors. Bolt your windows. Some infamous lines from that movie. Yeah, so, I mean, it was really cool. Really, really, really cool. So it's that movie. If you didn't experience that movie in the theater, um, the sad thing is if you've seen it multiple times, seeing it even in the theater now doesn't give you the same feel as seeing it for the first time. When you see that movie for the very first time, man, it is absolutely awesome movie, really good. Halloween 1 will always be the one that sticks out in my mind more. But Halloween 2, I did love John Carpenter's re-edit of that movie. I enjoyed it because Dick Warlock played that part perfect. Because at the time you're thinking, okay, he's superhuman. It's impossible for him to get up from those shots. He wouldn't be alive. There's no way. Nobody would be. You would bleed out, or you would be, you know. So my guess is Dick Warlock played him more like a zombie. And that was evident in certain scenes. You could tell that he was acting as though he wasn't alive. like the scene when he crashed through the front doors. He just walked straight through the doors, through the glass, broke the handle going across the door. He just walked right in, and just like very zombie like, just focused on his target. Didn't really, it was neat. It was cool. And Dick Warlock really played a classic version of Michael Myers, one that made sense too. I don't think you could have played it like Dick Warlock, because Dick Warlock, I'm sorry, Nick Castle. Nick Castle played it more like a human being with a mask on it. He had a much faster walk. He had he was more intense. So it was just two different ways to play Michael Myers, before he died and after he was dead. That's my opinion on that. Okay, Thorburn, I got to get off of here too, man. I got to get some sleep, guys. I'm going to say goodnight, but this is the new NAG mask that I'm showing you on the screen. It's the only picture available, so we have no idea what it looks like from a profile. Um, it's not a bad looking mask, I can say that, but I'm not sure I like the shape of the head. But that could be just the way it's stuffed. I don't know for sure. All right, guys. Peace. See you on the next video.